Welcome to the first ever video on my channel. I'm Gonk, and this is new Gonk City, and I want to give you guys a tour of it, show you all the cool details and fun builds that I've added to this city. Hi, before we begin, I just wanted to clarify what on earth is Gonk, because I say it a lot. And Gonks are these droids from Star Wars. They just walk around and say their name, Gonk, and they're very cute. I love them. I have a bunch of them all throughout the city. They're like civilians. There's no animosity between them and the humans. And SpiderMan in my city is actually a Gonk droid. Even though he has no arms to shoot webs, he still somehow does. And just because I think it's funny. So, yeah, that's the little clarification before we begin. Now let's get into the tour. So, just like in LEGO Marvel Superheroes, I have the SHIELD helicarrier flying above my city. And if we move back, we can kind of capture the Avengers Tower, which is where we're going to start. The top part of the Avengers Tower is inspired by Age of Ultron. So we have Vision shooting someone with his Mind Stone. Wanda and the Chaos Magic uses the Infinity Stone like holder piece. And then we have War Machine, and then Ultron here with two of his sentries carrying Loki's staff. And then as we move down, you move into the first Avengers movie. So we have Tony Stark there, two Chitauri chariots, Thor versus a Leviathan over here, and the Ancient One is actually helping him, because as we saw in Endgame, she was a part of this fight. And as we move down, we have Loki and Hulk as well. We'll take a closer look at this extra base I made below the Avengers Tower, but first let's look at this giant ground battle. So we have a bunch of Chitauri coming in, and then Cap, Black Widow, and Hawkeye defending. And then in the back there, we have Stanley with his hot dog cart, a Chitauri tourist, Dummy the robot, and then Aunt May getting in on the action, and you can see some studs and hearts just like in the LEGO Marvel Superheroes game. So this is the base structure that I made myself. I have some fun details over here, like a sling ring portal to the Sanctum Sanctorum, some Spider-Man references there, a bottle of Tony Stark's, and the Captain Marvel pager. And if we remove the top, you can see the inside is actually Tony Stark's Hall of Armor. So I took out the structural supports and my custom Igor models so we can see all of the different Iron Man suits. I believe it's pretty much every single Iron Man suit that has existed. And then I've also connected a bunch of the pieces from the different Hall of Armors through the years. This addition adds a lot of height to the Avengers Tower, which is really helpful, and I also accomplished that by having this shorter area right next to it. So in my universe, instead of the Avengers and Loki fighting over the Tesseract, they were fighting over this golden Gonk droid who actually perished in the battle, so this is a memorial for him, and this little, seating area where we have the waitress from the Avengers movie, Kevin Feige, and a few other fun characters. The next big fight scene in my city is inspired by Across the Spider-Verse, where we've all these Spider-Men chasing Miles Morales down here. I know we now have official figures based off the Spider-Verse, but I wanted to keep my customs here. And speaking of customs, we have a whole bunch of mine. These are based off mostly the background characters from Spider-Verse, but we have a whole bunch here and even my own custom Penny Parker mech. My favorites have to be all these ones riding Spider-Buggy. So we have Plush Spider-Man, Spider-Cat, Spider-Popsicle, and then Spider-Cube from the PlayStation games. I almost forgot, I actually used this statue piece to represent Lego Spider-Man. And then next to this Spider-Man battle are these two buildings that are made from a bunch of Lego sets mashed together. So we have the Heart Lake City Community Center from Friends. That's a rebrickable model of two of them put together. And then I made my own base with the cafe set that came out, I believe, last year. And then this is made from 3 of the Lego brand retail store that I combined together. And as you may notice throughout the city, there's a lot of civilians that just aren't reacting to the big battles all around them. I just think that's a really fun idea. Like, they're just so used to it. It's just a norm of the city that, there's always supervillains causing trouble. And I actually have micro versions of some Lego sets. So there's Rivendell right there, the DeLorean, and then my favorite set ever, the Daily Bugle. And now let's look at that set. So moving into the Daily Bugle area is a little hard because there's a whole lot of stuff going on here. So we're going to take it one step at a time. First, look at the Daily Bugle and the firehouse, then the big, Lego truck there, and then everything in this area. So up top, you can see a huge Sinister Six battle, but they're not Spider-Men, it's Spider-Gonks that are fighting, or more accurately, Thwipping Gonk. This is Spider-Gonk, and then this is Gonk Stacy. And then up top, we have Vulture and Doc Ock, who just threw MJ, who's about to be caught by Thwipping Gonk. Venom is over here, and he's venomized the D in Daily Bugle. And then you have Green Goblin, Electro, and then this huge fight over here with Mysterio, where there's a whole bunch of different illusions that Miles has to fight through. And then below the Daily Bugle, we have this giant Lego truck that is being stolen from by a bunch of the lower, obscure Marvel villains, none of the big players. So starting off over here, we have the most important villain ever, Big Wheel, one of my personal favorites. And then Morbius here, and you can see he actually has a Morbin license plate because I made that back when, that was popular. And then over here we have Leapfrog or Frogman, I always forget. The Wrecking Crew here stealing a whole pallet of stuff. The Tinkerer as well, stealing a whole pallet. Dr. Bong, who is about to bang the bell on his head so he can teleport away. And then this is Jack-O-Lantern. And then down here we have Rocket Racer, Will-O-Wisp, Gibbon and Kangaroo, Beetle, Slide, and then two of the most important. We got Stiltman, the Wall, who's actually stopping the traffic on this road, although it doesn't look like that. I might need to fix that up a bit. And then Hypno Hustler up here. Right here, we have what I call Cameo Crossroads, and I eventually want to come up with like fun little nicknames for parts of my city or streets in my city like that. But first up, we have Appa. That is a build from Bricker Builds. And then down below, we have Lightning McQueen and then Shaggy and Scooby. And then back up top, we have the Fortnite Battle Bus with a whole bunch of characters, gliding in, and some down there collecting some resources. And then in the back here, we have what I call the Elite Spider Society. So it's made up of a whole bunch of different Spider-Man that are not like human or humanoid. So we have a few different versions of Lego figures that are not minifigures. So like a construction figure, the two Duplo figures, and then a Brickhead. And then also some other, like the dinosaur ones that just came out. And then my own custom creation for Popsicle Spider-Man, Spider Cat, which is just the tuxedo cat with a mask on. And then my personal favorite, Spider Cube, which was a glitch from the PlayStation Spider-Man game. I kind of love this craziness right here that like there's just so much stuff going on. I guess it's probably because I have ADHD, but we can move over here to a more, smaller battle. This is the stuff I mentioned that's based off Lego Marvel superheroes. So we have a bunch of superpowers represented. Iceman and his like slide. Red Hulk down here holding up a rock like the Big Fig characters can do. Mr. Fantastic is as a teapot. Doctor Doom electrocuting Wolverine. Squirrel Girl throwing her squirrels. Iron Man's just flying. And then it's a little hard to tell with the light, but Magneto's back there in his like ball with like the 3 metal orbs. You may notice that this Iceman is from the Lego XMansion, but I don't have that anywhere in my city. And that's because my city is very much like the urban development. I did not want, too much landscaping, if that makes sense. So that's why I have the XMansion over here, kind of, near the city, but not in the city. So I've made tons of different customs, and I do want to expand out the XMansion, both wider and higher, and then maybe even add something down below, for the danger room and where the X-Jet is stored. But let's look at the figures. So over here, I kind of have a recreation of the title sequence where Magneto and his Brotherhood are fighting against the X-Men, and I just have a bunch of like random X-Men basically. And then over here, I have the X-Men that I want to show off their powers for, fighting off some Sentinels. So I specifically, like Cyclops, I want his beam to be bigger, so that's why I did that. I even have Mr. Sinister back there kind of staring at Cable as a fun little reference. Jean Grey. We have my favorite X-Men Nightcrawler, and then Storm here with a bunch of clear pieces to look like a giant tornado. And then over here, we have the last little section, which is basically just a big construction site. I obviously need to, retile off the roads, and then there's a lot of building stuff that I want to change here. So, for example, I have this custom Nelson and Murdoch that I made. I never finished the interior because I never liked the outside. So I'm going to change that up. And then also over here, we have the Lego City downtown set. And then the little ice cream shop over there. I really want to add more both Lego City and Lego Friends sets into New Gonk City. I don't know if I should combine them with the modulars or keep them kind of separate. I'm still working that out. Because one thing with these city sets is I really want to have just a whole bunch of these food trucks. Lego keeps making them, and I really just want to have like either a park or something that just has a line of food trucks. I really want to make that at some point. And then also, because I know I'll get questions, this is a modular, but it was from the Lego Brooklyn Designer Program. So there's only like 3,000 of them made, 30,000, something like that. But yeah, so unfortunately you can't get this. I do want to add like an arcade on top of there, like a second floor. That's going to be something I'll do in the future. And then something else I'm sure I'll get asked about. This is my own custom Spider-Man newspaper. There's actually a little article written behind there, but it's basically a way to display all my Spider-Man characters based off the MCU. I used to have one for my PlayStation characters, but I had to kind of cannibalize the parts from this to make that one. But eventually I want to have, it up top there, kind of like a line of different Daily Bugle newspapers that display different Spider-Man characters that don't fit necessarily in my city. And while I'm showing off ways I display with Spider-Man minifigures, I better show off my web. This is going to be my next video, is going over all my Spider-Man customs, but there's like 220 of them, so it's going to be a long video. So thank you guys for watching. That is New Gonk City. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'm excited to hear your guys' input in the comments. Like I said, it's still under construction. I got, the Jazz Club and a second police station that I want to add to this city. I want to add the Ninjago City sets as well. I have like vehicles underneath here, tons of stuff to add. So I'm excited to start that journey with you guys. Thank you for watching, and have fun and keep building.